Okay, I've spoken a few times at these events in London, and I've shared a lot of the examples of games-based learning and how we're using tools for Wii, for PlayStation, for Xbox, for DS, etc. in schools. And today I'm going to talk to you a bit about, not so much about what we're doing now, but look at trying to get under the skin of why we think these things are effective and why we think we can learn from games in terms of giving children the best chance for success in learning. So let's move on with this. Has anybody played this game?
Hello, my name is Ryan Walker and this is my story. In December 2004, I received a call from a man on behalf of the mythical Greek criminal organisation. He offered me employment as one of their agents. It didn't take me long to make up my mind. I joined. About a week later, a parcel arrived in the post. Inside was some money, a plane ticket to America, and an electrical earpiece. I wish I'd known what I was signing up for.
T. Greep & Co. What a lovely Dickensian name, isn't it? Really ugly name, and what a beautiful splash screen. None of you will have played that game because in March we talked about the computer game design competition we had in Scotland through Learning and Teaching Scotland. So what we did this year was we raised the bar of expectation of our pupils, and we asked them, instead of the year previous, we'd asked children to come up with an idea for a game, and they pitched it to Dragons at the Dragons Den competition. And it was fantastic. It was really successful, brilliant ideas. But what we've done as a result of the Scottish curriculum now having an expectation that children will have experiences of building games, it's now explicitly stated in our curriculum, we have set a competition where children have to design their own games. And that was the winning individual splash screen for a first-person shooter game built by a 15-year-old boy. And you used a free piece of software, you went on the forums, you should have seen the learning that was in that. What a fantastic splash screen. Here's another example of a winning game. This game won the team competition for secondary school, and they used a game called RPG Maker VX. Fantastic game, and this was an English teacher that did this. It wasn't a computing teacher. The English teacher had a story writing club, and so it was very popular, and he came across this and thought, I can build a kind of Nintendo Game Boy-esque game. And the folders that we saw of prepared materials, there must have been folders that thick of scripts, of sketches, of maps. The collaboration that went on in that team of, I think it was 14 pupils who wrote this, it was incredible. So it was almost like they had their own games design company in that story writing club. And you can see how we can create these experiences and these environments for learning that kind of resonate with learners and make learning come to life within a context as culturally relevant as this. It's a fantastic game. It takes forever to play this. You've got to kill this green-haired boy to begin with. So they're killing him first. Apologies for the violence, but it can be part and parcel of games, I suppose. But you'll get through this. So all this has been scripted and written by pupils. Now, let me just jump on. I said raising the bar of expectation. I'm going to talk about, yes, we've got to raise the bar of expectation for pupils, but I think we've got to raise the bar of expectation of ourselves as well. How can we understand how learners learn with games? What is it about computer games that can make children learn so well independent of adults? Now I'm going to talk about assessment and why I think assessment is something that can be addressed very well within games. And in Curriculum for Excellence, we have a document, Building the Curriculum 5, that offers a framework for assessment, and there's 4 principles. And I've taken out some aspects of that I think resonate readily with the games world. Supporting learning. How can they share learning intentions and success criteria? How can they give high-quality interactions and feedback? Also looking at promoting learning engagement. Learner involvement and reflection, setting learning goals and next steps, including through personal learning planning. Self and peer assessment. All this happens in games and learning. Ensuring appropriate support to be fair and inclusive, to enable learners to have, that for me, the best chance of success. And reporting on progress and achievement. Games do this, and I'll give examples of how that happens. Involving learners, parents, and others, for example, in profiles, records, and reports. How many of you play games have got profiles on your games consoles? It's there. It's part of the gaming experience. Let's have a look at this, folks. All right? This is some kids with Nintendo DS playing Nintendogs. And I've shown this before. This has been hugely successful. We've just had some research from Dundee University that's just come in recently. We commissioned research. It's very, very positive. But look at what's coming through in my text at the bottom of the screen there. A mastery attitude. A growth mindset when children play games. They're not being pigeonholed. They've not been told how good they are or how good they aren't within games. They're in a culture that allows them to grow, flourish, and think there's no barrier here for me to progress. High self-esteem, high self-efficacy, all these things you see naturally happening when children play games. What do we do to them that's wrong in schools that stops that happening? What can we learn from games that allows us to exploit that environment where children can flourish as learners? Assessment as learning is integral. It's built into the gameplay. Now, Sega. Remember that from quite a while ago? Sega, why have I got that there? Well, there was a chap called Alan McLean has written a book called The Motivated School. And in that book, he talked about his experience of seeing his sons play the Sega game, the games console. And he talked about self-efficacy in goal achievement, Sega. And that's what he talked about. And he's come up with this little diagram here that tries to explain what the Sega effect is. So you can see that affirmation of learning, empowerment, all these things happening to address learning within a kind of natural environment. Now, I think that says something about how children learn within games. I think it's really important as well that we think about, as adults and again as educators, some things I think we feel that we have to intervene, that we have to lead learning, and that we've got to make sure that children understand that we are there to help them. And I think too much feedback can really promote a kind of an unstable self-esteem, as Kernis and Washul have said there. Peer assessment with games again, folks. Look at this, look. Here's a teacher who knows a bit about learning and built in peer assessment into the learning environment. Let's have a look at this.
Use that expertise.
Well, my fear was that there was going to be children that had these Nintendos at home for months, years even. And I thought, well, how can I motivate them? They've seen all this already. So I thought, right, I can't go round 10 groups. I'm not familiar with Nintendos myself, so I'll make them the mentor. They have to help the children in their group who are not familiar with it. And to be honest, I have had little input on what do we do with these dogs, what do we need to buy. Even with the bark mode, linking together, there was 4 children, not a problem. They sat them all down, right, everybody switch on, everybody do this. I wasn't needed to even be there, and for me...
So there we are, folks. Confidence-building teachers instill the belief that ability is not fixed and that there are many ways to succeed. But I would also argue, if we took the word teachers out there and put resources in there, can they do that as well? Now, I think games do that. Our experience continually shows us that when children engage with games, they can succeed. So the question is, what is it about the games console that allows that to happen and to allow children to have the best chance of success? Here's Jack, right? This is my neighbour's son. He is fantastic at FIFA 10, now FIFA 11. And he's encouraged his dad and me and my daughter to have a FIFA 11 league in our street. And let's have a look at Jack, right? And let's see him. He's going to tell me why games work. Now, talk me through this. What are you doing?
You can either do controls, which just shows you the different types that you can play, but that I never go on that because I know how the controls. But I usually go on, if I'm wanting to train, I usually go on training drills.
Okay. Why do you choose this?
And then you get to train.
Yes.
And then you get to choose a team. I'm going to choose the best team ever, United.
Good lad.
Dundee United. And I can...
Right, so what have you got? How can you improve here? How can you, what can you practice?
I can either choose penalty kicks, corner kicks, free kicks, or open play.
What's the benefit of practicing these moves? Why would a player, somebody playing this game, go to training?
I'll show you why.
I'll show you why, right? So what does he do? He's been practicing his free kicks. He wanted to hone that. So he's seen this aspect of his gameplay, something that was needing improved, a development need. So he's gone into the game and it's got the facility to help him practice that. And look at what you're going to be able to do.
Take free kick.
Okay. Oof, look at this. Top corner. Right? Best chance of success. I'm good at free kicks now as well. I've been practicing too. And is the way the game's designed, is that good? Is it designed well so that you can get better at the game?
It's designed very well.
Why do you think it is?
It's just the way it was made, and it's just very good.
How does it help you get better?
Just depends what you need to get better at the game.
So do you make the decisions about what you need to practice yourself, or does your dad tell you?
I make the decisions.
I make the decisions. So he does that. His dad doesn't tell him what to do. He makes all those decisions. Okay, and let's have a look at this. Reporting on progress and achievement.
Or after, it has your rating.
He's got his profile, and he goes to that, and it informs him of what he needs to work on, and how to get better at the game.
So this is like feedback for you?
Yes. My main player profile's Jackal.
Right, okay.
Played 224.
And that profile has grown with him. It means something to him. It tells him how good he's become.
Best Street 28. I've won 7 series.
Okay.
That's the best out of all the files.
I take it you're not online with this then? So
I'm not, but I'm able to.
You're able to go online now, yeah?
I'm able to go online.
Would you like to be able to compare your skills against other people online?
Yeah, I've never done it though.
We'll need to get that sorted, Jack, so you can. And here he is, celebrating success. Boof, goal.
What a goal!
Yeah, he's not so smug now, because I'm getting quite good at it. Xbox 360, folks, I thought I'd focus on this in the time that I have left. What does Xbox 360 do that does all this stuff, that builds it into the game experience? This is Charlie Love that works with me. This is Charlie's his profile. He's got his achievement progress. It's got a gamer score achievements. Imagine linking this to curriculum. Imagine in Children's Own page in their VLE in Glow, for instance, in Scotland, where they had on their homepage something that gave indicators of achievements that they had in learning. You know, where they could look at these things and just personalise this. Maybe have their own kind of character that was their online VLE person. All these things seem to mean something to learners. About sharing learning intentions, incentivising achievement, personalising the learning experience. Achievements here, look at this in Xbox again. Look at all the unlocked ones. Look at the things that can be unlocked and could be on someone's profile. It would be fantastic to have a little widget that sits in WordPress or something that teachers could personalise and adapt to their own classroom's needs. Viva Pinata, longevity, played the game for 10 hours. Some of them are a bit spurious, I suppose, but look, score maximum points in film buff and the real thing. Imagine having something that was about focusing on using capital letters and full stops or good use of metaphor. And you and the teacher can negotiate whether that's been achieved or not. Make a movie with 4 players, collaboration. How can we build these things into the learning experience? First edition, complete an edition and begin making a movie. All these little icons could appear. And look, you could have maybe different bits for different curricular activities. We could build this aspect of feedback into the learning experience. There we go, just some more examples of that, folks. Unlocked ones. And we found out with our Dr. Kawashima research that the games that had the little question marks, the children, when we first played this, they couldn't wait to open those games to see what they were. Games designers know how to build a good learning experience. I think we can learn from them. Because games are very, very good at giving all these things, dynamic, ongoing feedback, presenting incentivised learning experiences, meaningful profiles, trusting in the ability of the player, the learner. Oops, Daisy, I jumped too far there. I'll have to go through these again. My apologies. Oh, goodness gracious. There we go. That was all going reasonably well. There we are, folks. Trusting in the ability of the player learner, nurturing growth mindsets, as Carol Dweck talks about. I think that's really, really important. Maximising potential for peer assessment, purposeful and relevant learning intentions, assuring assessment is not done to learners. And most importantly for us, giving every learner the best chance of success. Folks, that's me. Hopefully that's been of some use and maybe helped us get under the skin of why we think learning with games is an important thing. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Derek, thank you very much. And I think we have time really just to take one quick question from the audience. If someone has a burning question to ask Derek and they wave their hand around. I can't see anyone waving.
There's a lady there.
Ah, yes.
Hi, Sally Taylor from Richard Rose Morton Academy in Carlisle. Well, I've got a problem as regards games design. I was very interested in seeing the games design there that you're showing us. However, with the onset of an increase of BTECs coming into schools for level 2 and level 3, so we're talking about sixth form here, the creative and media BTECs, they're a real growth area now, and a lot of schools are offering it, as well as colleges, in order to attract sixth form into their schools. The problem is the traditional ICT teachers, maths teachers, whatever, don't have the skill set for games design. So what we've currently got is we've got a problem in this country that we don't have enough games designers actually coming in, graduates coming in to be teachers at the moment. So there's, we've got a problem there. So we've actually got teachers there who aren't qualified, very interested in games design, which we are. So how are we going to, actually deal with that? Because we've got so many students now coming in wanting to do games design, but we don't actually have the skills within schools to actually, roll it out and make it an effective programme. Yeah.
Well, in Scotland, where I'm based, this has been part of a kind of a longer-term strategy. That when I started the games-based learning thing in 2006, part of my kind of vision was to move into this area where children weren't just consumers of content, but the creators of it as well. So what's happened is, as the momentum has gathered in Scotland, LTS agreed to fund a couple of positions. So I've got two guys who are principal teachers of computing, Charlie Love and Brian Clark. You could follow them on Twitter. They're fantastic guys. And what they've done is that they've worked to build a series of a community with video tutorials, etc., identify particular free software that we can then put on our national intranet that is about building capacity. And my two guys have been out to support local authority, CPD events all over the country. So this is something that we've built in to our programme to try to build capacity. They're in the Shetlands, they've been down in Dumfries and Galloway, and what's happened is computing teachers have really kind of bought into this as well. And SQA are working on that, HMIE very interested. So I think that we've got some degree of cohesion in how we're taking this forward. So it'd be good maybe to get a chance to show you the resources in GLOW. I've talked about it before previously, but I've left that out. But that's what we've done in Scotland anyway. Maybe a model that local authorities in England might want to follow.
Derek, thank you very much. And I think for those of you interested in Derek, do you still blog at Hot Milky Drink?
I kind of do. I haven't blogged for quite a while in Hot Milky Drink.
But thank you for that. And do accost Derek later. He's an extremely exciting person to talk to about games-based learning. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you, folks.